When Bruce Campbell finally made it to the NHL and stayed there with the Bruins, then with the Maple Leafs, he had a great fan base, wasn't scared to take a shot because one of the last players to not wear a mask. The only thing what happened with him, the two major things in his career, despite being backup for the Leafs in '67, whose name was left off the Stanley Cup for whatever reason, I don't know, and heart troubles ended his career, ended his life early. So we're going to be talking about the pride of Port Arthur today, Bruce Campbell. Now, when teams made a gamble on gamble, it always paid off. A very, very talented player. Played minor hockey for Major Junior and Junior A for a half decade. He spent 3 seasons with the Port Arthur Bruins of the Thunder Bay Junior A Hockey League between 53 and 55. In 56, he backstopped Port Arthur North Stars to a Bertha Memorial Cup. He did so again the following season with Guelph Biltmores of the OHA and was elected to the 1957 OHA First All-Star team. He also made it to the Memorial Cup a third time with the Ottawa Canadiens the following year. Now, his first year as a pro was the Vancouver Canucks of the WHL. He also played 2 games in the NHL for the Rangers that year. His performance inspired other NHL teams, and the Bruins chose him in the '59 intra-league draft. After a year with Providence of the AHL, he became the team's starting goalie in '61. Now, during the next 4 campaigns, he played mainly in the minors with Portland, Kingston, and Springfield, and was called up for the Bruins for 28 games in '62 as their unofficial backup. Now, he refused to go back to the minors in '65, feeling he deserved to be in the NHL, and so the Bruins suspended him from Springfield for the entire season. The following year, he was traded to Toronto, who had some strong backstops at the time. Now, his first 3 seasons in Toronto, Campbell was again a backup for Johnny Bower and Sawchuk. He recorded 4 shutouts in 6 games in March in '66. Now, this would got bizarre, ladies and gentlemen. In '67, when the Leafs won the Stanley Cup, he played in 23 regular season games with a 5-10-4 record and a GAA of .329. However, he was sent to the minors to the Tulsa Oilers before the trade deadline, and as a result, and I don't know why he never stepped in and changed the rules for him, he did not spend the whole season with Toronto, and his name was left off the Stanley Cup. Now, with the loss of Sawchuk in the '67 expansion draft, Campbell saw more action with the Leafs and established himself as a solid workhouse goalie. Played in 41 games in '68, '62 and '69, and 52 and '70 with the Buds. He also played in the '68 NHL All-Star game and was named MVP. He was the last Leaf goalie to play without a mask, finally donning one in '71. Now, Campbell, along with a first-round selection, which ended up being Pierre Plante, in the '71 NHL Amateur Draft, was traded to the Flyers for Barry Perron and a second-round draft pick, which turned out to be Rick Kehoe. In the same draft as part of a 3-week deal, which also involved the Bruins on January 31st, '71. The Leafs also sent Mike Walton to the Bruins, who shipped Rick McClish and Danny Shock to the Flyers. Now, he served mainly as a backup to Doug Favela with the Flyers for the rest of that season, with only 11 regular season games and 2 playoff games. The following year, he began to compete for the starting role. He put in a run of solid performances, which ended when he suffered a heart attack during a 3-1 victory over the Canucks on February 8, '72. Although he fell at one point during the game, he did not complain of problems until afterward, and traveled with the team to Oakland on February 9th for a game with that evening against the Seals. As chest pains continued, he was admitted to an Oakland hospital, where it was found he had a heart attack. He did not play in the NHL game. Now, on December 29, '82, after a practice session the evening before with an old-timers hockey team, the Niagara Falls Flames, Campbell woke up with chest pains and died at a hospital in Niagara Falls, Ontario, at the age of 44. Now, because Campbell suffered both heart attacks after playing or practicing hockey, negative and incorrect accounts have been written that he was taken to a hospital during the '72 NHL game or that he died during an old-timers game. Neither of Campbell's heart attacks forced him from the ice, as he finished the game after the first heart attack and suffered a second one the morning after a practice session. So, final NHL totals don't tell the whole story. A number of campaigns were strong and some were mediocre. 328 games, 111, 152, 46, 18,470 minutes played, 22 shutouts, 3.23 average, and a very competent 90.6 save percentage. 0-4 in the playoffs, 2 games with the Flyers, 3 with Toronto, 25 goals against, 7.28 average, and again 0-4. Had some rough starts. But ladies and gentlemen, what he went through as a player, suffering those rotten teams with Boston and Toronto, and somewhat with the Flyers, we always consider Bruce Campbell a very, very underrated goalie. To not have him on the 67 Stanley Cup list is kind of a disgrace, because he would fill up in the spots where Sawchuk and Bauer couldn't finish it off. And for a lot of Toronto fans, he's the lost Stanley Cup winner, because a lot of people, when the Stanley Cup list came out, they were quite shocked Bruce didn't make it. I think it should be retroactive. Put him on the 67 Cup winner, because Eriksson and some of their few game wonders are on that Stanley Cup. He should be there. He played 1/3 of Toronto's games in net. He really deserves to be there. So if you like what you're doing here with our podcast channel, let us know with a like, comment, and subscribe. Patrick Moreska did a request on this. Thank you, Patrick. Don't forget, all requests are highly considered and highly appreciated. Thanks for listening.